What's going on, you degenerate folks? I'm just assuming you're degenerate if you're listening to this video, but I hope y'all are having a good day. I'm having a pretty good day. I thought I was pretty bored today, so I might as well make this video. I made the video yesterday too, but I decided that I was gonna play a game that I kind of needed. Well, I guess the game you're seeing right now that I kind of needed some attention for. So I didn't get very far into that video before I realized that this is not gonna get posted. Maybe I'll post it with some bloopers, or maybe I'll post it as a blooper video. I don't know. Yeah, but it's not gonna be posted today. It's the main video. I'm gonna retell the story, which is unfortunate, but it was a very shitty story in the last video because of how poorly I did that. But today, as you could probably tell by the title, it's me selling joints in the 8th grade, right? Selling weed in middle school. You know, how did that go? Probably not the greatest idea, but you know, for some people, that's how it works out, you know. And I'm saying some people, but I mean probably about 50% of y'all, or maybe 100% of y'all listening to this. I'm not too sure. Yeah, well, before we get started with the story, you know the rules if you've watched any of my videos. So let's take a smackaroo right before we get started with this, and then I'm gonna slurp down some water so I'm not coughing the whole time, you know. Oh, one more. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, okay. All right. See, I don't really know what that sounds like with no video to go with it. Probably sounds a little stupid, especially because I'll pause the video, so it's not like 25 seconds of me sitting here in the freaking silence, you know, or me coughing. I don't know. I didn't really cough that much, but well, to the story. So I was probably in the 8th grade. I say probably because I'm not really 100%. This was quite some time ago. 7th or 8th grade. I'd say 8th grade though, probably 8th grade. So I was in the 8th grade, and me and this let's give him a name. Let's say Ralph. And Ralph was kind of my friend in 8th grade. We became closer friends freshman, sophomore year of high school, and we'll get into that. And then our mutual buddy, we're just gonna call him yeah, we'll just call him Jolly, because I got a Jolly Rancher sitting right in front of me, and I'm not real creative with my names right now. So Ralph hits me up, but he's like, "Yo, me and Jolly need some joints for tonight, because you know we going to the movies. Mama's gonna drop us off. Hey, 8th grade, you know, none of us driving. Mom's gonna go drop them off at the movies." I said, "Bet, you know, I'll roll you up." And in 8th grade, I personally didn't know anybody that could really roll a joint, and I know they didn't know anybody, because I mean I wasn't the greatest kid, but they definitely, I mean, they weren't good kids either, but they were doing other hooligan shit. So they hit me up. They're like, "Hey, we need some joints." I was like, "Hey, no problem. You know, it's like lunch. Y'all ain't going to the movies till like 8. So hey, what if I'll meet y'all up, sell you some, but I'm gonna take some extras with me, and why don't we just go smoke them?" And they're like, "Hey, you know, sound like a deal to me." So that's exactly what I did. I had I don't know if y'all have ever seen them, the little rolling tray, not trays, but like rolling helper assister thing. I'm not sure exactly what you call that, but basically it's like 2 little cylinders on this stand and like a piece of paper like wax paper or something in between it, and you put your paper, you roll your joint paper down, and you roll, you sprinkle some in there, and then it kind of rolls it up for you. It's pretty nice. They're just not the best, like, you know, they don't come out perfect. So I did probably like two or three of those, probably three of those, and then I did two. Um, so this is actually still how I do it today if I'm not just given unlimited time, but especially if I'm in the car. So I make a cone out of the paper that I have, and then I don't think I had like a good grinder back then. I think I was hand grinding that shit, which just invest in a grinder, guys. They're on Amazon. $10. It makes your life so much easier. Get one with the little catcher at the bottom. You know, you can go cheap with grinders and just replace them every now and then. For all I care, it just makes it a little easier if you have a grinder. Anyways, so I had a little rolling tray, like a tiny one, and I would just throw it all out onto that, and then kind of scoop it up with these cones that I made, and it works pretty good. You know, I can't even lie, that it's pretty successful. All right, they come out the best. The only problem is that I still wasn't very good at that back then. Granted, in the 8th grade, maybe I was smoking on weekends. Maybe, yeah, I wasn't like smoking every day in the 8th grade. So, you know, I'm really not too sure. I might have been at this point in time, but more likely than not, it was just when like I had friends over. So, although I kind of knew how to roll, it wasn't the kind that you want to stash and smoke later. You know, it's kind of one of them roll and smoke now, because like smoke now or forever hold your peace. This shit ain't smoking later. But the ones that I rolled with the little assister thing, they don't smoke as good, but you could throw them in a bag and throw them in your pocket and walk around, and it seemed they were a little more durable, being a little smaller or whatever. I'm not too sure, but so I threw like probably 5 joints in this bag, and we decided, all right, we're gonna meet in the middle. So at the end of so you got to walk up this little hill from my house, and then you get to this gate for a neighborhood, and you go through that, and you're like a mile down the neighborhood, maybe a little more, and there's this park. So we're like, all right, we're gonna meet there. So I start walking, and I meet them there, but I didn't realize this until they got there and told me. But you know, their road doesn't connect. Well, I knew it. All right, I knew the road didn't connect, but I didn't realize what they had to do. So their road and the road that goes to the park really is just like 200 yards apart. You just gotta, unfortunately, walk through this dude's like hunting pasture. So, you know, tall fences, a bunch of trees, and you know, it's someone else's property, so it feels a little suspicious. Well, that's what they had to do. So they jump this tall ass fence, they climb over, they sprint through this damn field so they don't get in trouble, and then they meet me in the park. And in the park, it's a pretty lit, like, a location, you know, because there's this like handmade waterfall. It's just, I don't know, just it's like a horseshoe shape that the waterfall comes out of, and it comes into this pond, and you know, there's walls on two or three of the sides, and on underneath the waterfall, or like kind of right next to it, you got this little like cave. And I say cave, but it's more like a tunnel. So we're like, hey, you know, we don't want to be sitting out in the open, and this cave looks pretty badass. So we avoid getting wet as much as possible, and we go crawl up in that cave, and we start lighting up these joints. I was like, hey boys, here's y'all's 3. I'll leave them in this baggie for y'all. Y'all do whatever y'all want with them. You know, that's not my business, but I need my money. And you know, at the time, I'm an 8th grader, so I'm probably already getting taxed. I don't know. I was probably buying like a quarter ounce at a time. And if I had to guess, that was probably more than like 40 bucks, maybe even more than that, to be honest. So each one of these joints was like $10. I'm not even gonna lie. But for some eighth graders, hey, got to do what you got to do. And I came home with like $30, so I was pretty happy. Any less than $30, it really just wasn't worth it for me to walk out there. I would have done it for free just to go smoke with them, but to give them 3 joints, I don't know. So don't be judging me on that. All right, we were like 14 years old, so just ignore the prices there. But yeah, so I give them theirs. They give me the money, and then we're just chilling, and we're probably talking about some like girls or something. I don't remember. But we start to light up, and we thought it was dope. Like we thought this like we thought this cave was the coolest thing in the world, and granted, it really was. It was very cool. But we get about halfway through this first joint, and we're passing around, and it's kind of a bitch because we have to sit like single file. So when I hit the joint and I have to pass it to the first person, I gotta pass it to Ralph in between me and Jolly, So that's kind of how we did it. And then halfway through this joint, we realized this smoke ain't going anywhere because, for one, the wind is kind of like non-existent, and we got walls on all sides of us, and the waterfall wasn't like right in front of the hole of this cave, but it was close enough that like the smoke just wasn't going anywhere. So high key, we were boxing this freaking cave. Just saying, like, we had to smell dank. But we sat there probably for like over an hour just smoking 2 joints. Nowadays, I could smoke 2 joints in an hour by myself, but if I had 3 people, that's gone in like 10, 20 minutes at the most. Let's be real. We had to relight it every 5 minutes because we would just sit there and talk. What good times. But yeah, we kind of realized after, going through the second joint that we got to get out of here and not smell dank, because first of all, all of our parents are going to be real strict against us smoking. And their parents are going to take them to the movies, so they got to sit in the car with them. And my dad, like, always has chores for me to do, so he's always going to, like, come into my room. I get back, he's going to be like, hey, let's go do this, let's go do that. So I couldn't just smell dank. And we were like, well, how do we get this smell off of us? I'll tell you how. We decided we're going to do the 10 second like wrestling matches in the grass in the playground. So that's exactly what we did. We did a little boxing. We did 10 seconds. And basically, we just rolled around with each other. Pause. We just rolled around, fighting each other. Pause again. We wrestled, no homo, for a good 10 minutes, trying to get the smell off us. I don't necessarily know how much that worked, but it worked good enough that I didn't get in trouble. So once we were done with that, we were like, okay, all right, we gotta get out of here. And they were leaving for their movie in like an hour, and walking a mile, it shouldn't take an hour, but gotta climb a fence, you talking, you're stoned, whatever else, you're kind of just thinking, this is gonna take an hour, and a lot of times it does take an hour. So they had to start running. They were like, oh, we gotta leave in an hour, we gotta get our asses out of here. So I put in my AirPods, I start walking back, and off they went. They climbed that fence, they went through the bushes. Apparently, they like hit every single tree on the way back trying to get that smell off of them, and good for them. For me, I just had a real long walk down the road. I didn't go through any trees, But when I got home, I just like gave my dog a big bear hug and played with all the other dogs, let them jump on me. Kind of helps get the stench off. Other than that, though, I never got in trouble for this. So, it was a decent day. It was a good day. But yeah, that's me selling weed in the 8th grade. So like I said, we get back to Ralph. Ralph and I became friends more within like the next 2 years, and I didn't hang out with Jolly at all for a very long time. But come sophomore summer, like going into junior year, Ralph decided to snitch on his parents about like the whole friend group, a different friend group than Jolly. But we went and celebrated his birthday. He got a little weed. He got a couple pins, whatever. And then he goes on vacation, and him and his cousin like green out on these pins. And like, first of all, how the hell do you do that? You smoke every day, and you're telling me you green out? Okay, that's crazy. And then second of all, just why would you snitch, bro? He got caught with way more than what we gave him. So like, most of it came from his plug. Why couldn't you just be like, oh yeah, I bought all this. Here's who I bought it from. Have to find a new plug, whatever. That's what we did when we got caught. We don't snitch out the friend group. In fact, I don't even say that my friends smoke. I'll be like, no, they don't smoke. And I gotta protect my friends from my parent. I gotta protect my friends' images from my parents liking this. They hear that my friends are smoking or selling weed, they're gonna be like, nah, you ain't hanging out with them. Go find you some new friends, because they ain't coming over and you ain't going over there. So he snitched us out, and after that we kind of just stopped being friends, partially because, first of all, you snitched us out, and then the other part, like I said, my parents don't want to hear from them because they're over here saying that I sold them weed, which didn't happen. I just gave them a pin. And then second of all, his parents don't want me hanging out with him because they're like, well, he's giving you weed. It's like, well, yeah, but he's giving me weed too. I'm just saying. Yeah, we're not. All right. Don't snitch on your friends, kids. That was the most irritating thing I've ever lived through in my whole life. But funny enough, Jolly, he ended up working at a feed store with me after I'd been working there for like a year and a half. And I was doing online school, so I was working there just about full time. But he'd come in after school, so like 3 o'clock-ish, 4 o'clock, and work the last few hours because we closed at like 6. So once he started working there, we actually became kind of good buddies because we were only like one of 2 people that were 17 or 18 at the time. Everyone else was either considerably younger and working weekends or considerably older and working full time. So I think it's pretty funny that me and Jolly, I really didn't know the kid. I thought he was kind of weird. But like 4 or 5 years after the events of this video take place, we end up working together, and we've become pretty good friends. Like good enough that we might hang out after work or something. So just keep in mind, if you're in 8th grade and you're watching this, somebody you don't like right now, you might become friends with. Somebody you think is weird. Hell, I still think this kid is very weird to this day, but he's funny. I like him. I'm not any less weird, so I can't really say nothing, right? Like there's no reason to judge when someone could judge me. Just keep it 100. Just I don't know. There's no reason to be judgmental. And I never said anything rude to this kid. I always thought he was a little strange, but now I'm that strange, and he's no less strange. So hey, it worked out. I think I'm out of stuff to talk about on this video. Well, if you're listening to this and you're in the 8th grade, may I advise you not to be smoking weed. May I advise you not to be selling it. May I advise you to get good grades, because the year after this video, I went to freshman year and just did not attend class whatsoever. It was COVID year, so I had the ability to like go online and stuff, but that was a mess. I can't believe I lived my life like that. It all worked out, but I'd definitely be a little bit better off maybe if I attended class a little more seriously. So I guess if you're watching this, you're still in school, just pay attention in school. It really serves you no benefit to skip class every day. If you want to skip class every now and then with your friends, I mean, go ahead. Skipping class wasn't the worst thing. It was mostly just not turning in work and getting bad grades. Like, I finished school with a pretty good GPA. You know, I made it to the threes, but without that freshman year, I could have been like high three. I could have been like 3.9. I'm not even gonna lie. I could have maybe, just maybe, had a 4.0. Maybe. I'm not saying like definitely, but if I got good grades my freshman year, I would have been, I would have gotten some academic scholarships, is what I'm saying. So, hey, you know, even if you don't know what you want to do, or you think you know what you want to do, things change. Just get good grades. I don't even give a shit if you attend class. That's not the worst thing. Just cheat off someone and get good grades. Because I can't tell you one thing that I learned in school. I mean, we didn't learn anything insanely important. It's just the grades that matter. You know, it's not about learning it. It's just about memorizing what you need to. Funny enough, that's pretty much all you got to do is just memorize what you need to. And be nice to your teachers, cause they people too. Unless they're like a ugly fat chick, always rude to you. Yeah, fuck them teachers. Other than that, though, be nice to your teachers. And y'all have a good, wonderful day. I know that I kind of rambled on a little bit after this video, but I felt like I needed to make that connection point that the friend that I met, or the mutual friend that I met, is who I'm actually friends with now, and my original friend I don't talk to anymore. It really had no relevance to the story, but I felt like getting that out there. So y'all have a good day, wonderful day, beautiful day. You know, go see the clouds, play outside or something. I don't know. I can't tell y'all what to go do, but yeah, I got nothing else to say. So y'all go check out some other videos on my page if you want. I know some of them are a couple years old because I haven't really been the best at keeping a schedule. Posted every now and then for about 3 years. I made a lot of them private, so it looks like there's way less than there actually is. But then I started posting like a month or two ago, maybe 3 months ago now. And then I kind of got busy and I haven't been home alone. So I was like, I don't really feel like making a video. So I haven't made a video. But here's a video for y'all. So y'all enjoy. Thank you.